Beauty is often confused with vanity in youth, but the beauty of an older woman no longer depends on the approval of others. It rests on her own self-awareness. Because as the years pass, a woman comes to understand that true charm lies neither in makeup nor in clothing. True charm is being able to look in the mirror every morning and say, "I'm still here." It is not forgetting yourself, even when the world has forgotten you. You no longer live for others, but to honor your own existence. And in that moment, a woman is not just beautiful, she becomes a figure who commands respect. Time may have changed you, but this is not a loss, it is a promotion. Because a mature woman no longer hides her feelings, she simply does not waste them on unnecessary things. Her every word is measured, her every movement conscious. Her charm comes not with a loud voice, but with quiet elegance. Even the weariness in her eyes carries meaning. That weariness is the mark of having lived. That's why you no longer try to look young, you just try to feel strong. And that difference is what makes everyone watching you tremble inside. Now I leave you not with a question, but with an awareness. True beauty does not change with age. Write this sentence in the comments, because when you write it, you will seal not just the words, but your awareness. At that moment, you will no longer be a spectator, but a participant, because this video exists so you can look at the mirror with different eyes. If you're ready, let's begin. 1. Hold your posture straight. Walk with confidence. A woman's age is not revealed by the slump of her shoulders, but by the direction of her gaze. You may have carried many burdens throughout your life, experienced many disappointments. But if you still stand tall, it is no longer just a posture, it is a statement of character. Because strong women do not slouch as they age, their wisdom lifts their shoulders even higher. That is why your walk is the quietest but clearest expression of who you are. Walking tall is not just a physical posture, it is an inner resistance. Every time the world tries to bend you, it's about lifting your shoulders again. It's the silent way of saying, "I'm here, still standing tall." Aging doesn't weaken you, it just shows which battles you've survived. That's why no matter how old a woman gets, if her walk is determined, she still inspires admiration. Walking with confidence is not about proving anything to anyone. On the contrary, it is no longer needing to prove anything to anyone. The woman who sought external approval in her youth hears only her inner voice when she matures. She no longer wants applause, she wants peace. That is when beauty reaches its most natural state. Not with makeup, not with clothes, but simply with her existence. Life may have knocked you down many times, but how you get up each time is what makes you special. Standing tall shows that you are strong enough to carry whatever you have experienced in the past. Women change over the years, but the elegance at their core remains the same. Even in her slow walk, she carries elegance and wisdom. When a woman walks with confidence, people try to understand her, but most just feel it. Because the energy she radiates is the vibration of confidence gained over the years. She no longer seeks approval or strives to attract attention. She just walks, and everyone turns to look. Because grace is not for attracting attention, but for leaving an impression. Remember, keep your head held high even on days when life wears you down. Because when you slump your shoulders, not only does your appearance fade, but your light dims too. Your posture speaks volumes about who you are. It comes before your words. So stand tall not for anyone else, but for yourself. Because as long as a woman carries herself well, she inspires admiration at any age. By the way, if you like the video and subscribe to our channel, you will be supporting me in the most effective way. 2. Always look clean and well-groomed. As a woman ages, her beauty is revealed not in her facial features, but in the quiet care she shows herself. Cleanliness and grooming are not just about outward appearance. They are a form of inner respect, a way of saying, I still value myself. Because no matter how much life wears you down, a woman who stands before the mirror with care declares to the world that she has never given up on herself. Old age is not a surrender. On the contrary, it is a victory lived with grace. Looking clean is the first sign of self-love. Your hands, skin, hair, clothes, they all send a message. I am worthy of attention. That's why a well-groomed woman carries an increasing, not decreasing charm as she ages. Because when she improves her appearance, she actually tidies up her inner world as well. Cleanliness is not just about water, but about conscious purification. You don't have to be young to be well-groomed. You just have to care about yourself. Because when a person takes care of themselves, they spread this energy to those around them. The expression on your face, the elegance of your hands, the simplicity of your clothes, they are all part of a whole. As she ages, a woman becomes a light. This light has nothing to do with foundation or cream. It is a reflection of the orderliness of her soul. Looking well-groomed is not about preparing for others. It is about making peace with yourself in the mirror. It is the peace of being able to say, today, I did the best I could. Because a woman who respects herself does not need anyone's approval. Her beauty is not for attention, but for peace. When a woman looks clean and tidy, it creates a strange effect on people. It's as if the air around her becomes still. This is the nobility that comes with age, because care makes a person different at any age. A woman who cares about her appearance doesn't seem dependent on anyone. She becomes the representative of self-sufficient elegance. And remember, being well-groomed isn't about staying young. It's about staying true to yourself. Because no matter how the world sees you, if you feel at peace when you look in the mirror, you are already beautiful. Beauty doesn't change with age. It only deepens. True attractiveness is not despite your age, it is shining with your age. 3. Find your own scent and always use it. A woman's scent is a signature that cannot be erased from memory. Perfume is not just a scent. It is a silent expression of a woman's character, her past, even her emotions. Even years later, when people smell that scent again somewhere, they remember you. Because scent is more lasting than appearance, more powerful than words. When a mature woman has her own scent, she makes her presence felt even without being seen. Finding your own scent begins with knowing yourself. Which notes reflect you? Spicy, floral, woody. This is not just a perfume choice, it is a statement of personality. You try it in your youth, you are indecisive, you change it, but when maturity comes, you know, this is my scent. Because that scent suits your soul, fits your style, and becomes synonymous with you over time. Wearing the same scent for years creates more than a routine. It creates a legacy, because people remember you by that scent. When you walk into a room, you don't need to speak to be noticed. You simply exist. Scent is a woman's silent charm. No matter how old you get, your own scent will never leave you. That's why finding the right scent is a discovery about yourself. It's not about spraying too much perfume, but about using it in moderation. True elegance lies not in the scent being smelled, but in it being felt. People should remember you even after you've left, not with their nose, but with their heart. That's when the scent leaves a mark. This is what makes older women admirable. They are remembered as much for their presence as for their absence. A woman's scent becomes part of her identity over time. Every morning when she sprays it on, she does so not just to smell good, but to reactivate her own energy. This small ritual is a way of saying, I am here. Because even as she ages, these subtle details of self-care keep a woman alive. Remember, A scent permeates not only your skin, but also your memories. People may forget your name, but they will never forget your scent. And no matter how old you are, a woman who carries her own scent is never forgotten. Because beauty may fade, but elegance remains, with scent. 4. Wear understated jewelry. True elegance is hidden not in ostentation, but in moderation. As a woman ages, she learns simplicity, because over time she understands that it's not about attracting attention, but about leaving an impression. Jewelry is not an ornament, it is an extension of character. It's not loud, flashy, attention-grabbing pieces. It's subtle, quiet, but powerful details that make a woman noble. Sometimes just a pair of pearl earrings, an elegant bracelet, or a delicate ring defines an entire look. Jewelry reflects a woman's state of mind. When young, accessorizing is fun, but as she matures, it becomes a form of expression. When a woman wears simple jewelry, she is actually saying, "I don't need to draw attention to myself," because she conveys her beauty not by shouting, but by whispering. This is the nobility that comes with age, an effect born not of glitz, but of quietude. A restrained choice of jewelry is a sign of awareness. It is the calmness of knowing who you are, not what you want to show others. It is not the value of gold, silver, or stones that matters. It is the energy of the woman wearing them. That is why a mature woman maintains her own style in every detail. Even her jewelry does not exceed the limits of her wisdom. Everything remains in proportion and meaningful. The scarcity of jewelry is not a void of elegance. That void is a conscious silence, because too many details overshadow the beauty of the essence. As a woman's jewelry diminishes, the expression on her face intensifies. People no longer look at what she wears, but how she wears it. True charm begins here, in being able to show something without showing it. And perhaps the most beautiful thing is this: understated jewelry reflects the inner balance a woman finds over time. That balance makes beauty lasting. Because ostentation is fleeting, elegance is lasting. A woman who has aged glows even with simple jewelry, because she herself now shines. If you've noticed this point, you understand that beauty is not in the details, but in the consciousness. This awareness will make the habits I'll describe in the rest of the video much more meaningful, because those secrets are not just about being seen, but about being remembered. If you're ready, let's continue. 5. Take special care of your hands. A woman's age is often revealed through her hands, because hands carry the traces of life. Everything you've held, let go of, and protected is there. Youth isn't hidden in your face, but in your hands. That's why taking care of your hands isn't just an aesthetic detail. It's a sign of respect for your own labor. If a woman takes good care of her hands, it means she takes good care of her life. Your hands tell a silent story. They reveal you, your patience, your hard work, your love, your weariness. As you age, the lines on your hands gain character just like the lines on your face. But there is one difference. You can hide your face, but never your hands. That's why protecting them is like protecting your heart. Because hands are the most visible elegance of womanhood. Caring for your hands is not a luxury, it is a ritual. It is not just about applying cream. It is the art of leaving delicacy in everything you touch. A soft touch can sometimes be more effective than a glance. People remember you by your hands, how you held them, how you caressed them, how you said goodbye. That is why this small detail is much bigger than one might think. When a woman pays attention to her hands, over time they shine like jewels. No matter how old she gets, those hands still carry elegance. Because they are not just skin, they are the work of a lifetime. Keeping your nail polish simple, keeping your nails clean and natural, it's a sign of understated beauty. And most importantly, The care you show your hands is a reflection of the care you show yourself. As a woman ages, she speaks with her hands, in a greeting, a touch, a farewell. They all leave a mark. So don't neglect your hands. They carry your story. True beauty begins with your hands. 6. Dress stylishly but simply. As a woman ages, dressing is no longer a show. It becomes a state of mind. The colors you chose to attract attention in your youth become elements of balance with maturity. Because now you know, true elegance lies in not being overwhelming. Being stylish is not about wearing expensive clothes. It's about choosing what is clean, harmonious, and suits you. As a woman ages, simplicity becomes her most powerful weapon. A woman who dresses simply carries her self-confidence not with embellishments, but with her attitude. She doesn't shout with colors or compete with details, because she no longer relies on her clothes to express herself, but on her energy. That's why a simple dress with the right posture can make more of an impact than a nightgown. People notice your integrity, not your clothes. Chicness is actually a form of self-respect. A woman who values herself dresses carefully, even at home. This is not just aesthetic, it is psychological power, because appearance shapes mood. A chic piece you choose while getting dressed in the morning determines the energy of the day. With age, women understand this better. No fashion trend can give the freedom that simplicity provides. Dressing simply is also a form of awareness, because now you dress to be felt, not to be seen. A shade of color, a fabric texture, an accessory detail. They all whisper who you are. Anything excessive draws attention, but anything simple commands respect. This is true elegance, earning respect, not attention. The grace that comes with age is hidden in understated choices, because the more a woman simplifies, the more noble she appears. This is the result of knowing oneself and freeing oneself from the unnecessary. Fashion passes, but style remains, and style is the quiet face of character. 7. Speak gently, adjust your tone of voice well. A woman's tone of voice is remembered before her face, because the voice is the echo of character. A gentle tone of voice touches not only the ear but also the heart. With age, a woman learns the power of tone, not words. It is not harsh speech, but speaking with the right emphasis that is impressive. This is what women who inspire admiration have in common. You remember not so much what they said, but how they said it. There is a calmness, an elegance in their every word. Speaking gently is not weakness, it is wisdom. When you are young, you react. When you mature, you don't respond, because you now understand that the loudest voice is not always the strongest. As a woman ages, she doesn't lower her voice. She just silences unnecessary noise. This difference is a sign of maturity. The tone of a word can sometimes convey an entire stance. The tone of voice carries a person's energy. A woman who speaks gently changes the balance of the environment. Speaking in a soft but firm tone inspires both confidence and admiration in the listener, because it is not easy to combine compassion with determination in one's voice. A woman who achieves this balance leaves a lasting impression on everyone around her. A gentle voice is good not only for others, but also for oneself, because the voice is a reflection of the heart. Whether you are hurt, angry, or patient, it all seeps into your tone. And as a woman ages, her voice carries not her anger, but her awareness. There is a calmness in her every sentence. Even if the listener does not understand her, they feel at peace. This peace spreads like perfume. The power of the voice is revealed not by shouting, but by leaving an echo. A woman who speaks gently speaks not with her words, but with her energy. Every sentence is measured, every emphasis is conscious. Because a mature woman knows, words fade, but tone remains. Even as the years pass, you never forget how someone spoke to you. And the most elegant women are those who learn this truth early on. If you find yourself in these lines, it's no coincidence. The voice of elegance within you is calling. In the rest of the video, you'll see other habits that complete this elegance, because beauty is hidden not only in how you look, but also in how you sound. Now let's dive a little deeper. 8. Make eye contact. A woman's beauty is sometimes hidden not in a sentence but in a glance. Eye contact does not fade with age. On the contrary, it deepens over the years, because in youth, eyes are adorned, while in maturity, they carry meaning. A woman's eyes tell the story of everything she has experienced, her joys, her losses, her forgiveness, her acceptance. That's why the gaze of a woman who has lived is not only captivating, it inspires confidence. People see a calmness, a wisdom in those eyes. Not averting your gaze is not a challenge. It says, I am at peace with myself. Making eye contact takes courage, because someone who doesn't look away is someone who doesn't hide themselves. The inner strength that comes with age is reflected in the gaze. You don't even need to speak anymore. Your eyes speak for you. That gaze says, I now know who I am. Eye contact goes beyond external beauty. It is a reflection of your personality, your past, and your state of mind. That is why the gaze of mature women is not easily forgotten. Once you look at them, you cannot forget that calm energy. The bond a woman establishes with her eyes reaches the soul of the person opposite her, because eye contact is the only form of communication that cannot be fake. Voices change, words can be misunderstood, but eyes always speak the truth. The determination in a woman's gaze is the distilled essence of every pain she has endured. When young, eyes seek. When old, eyes tell. Now even a single glance carries a message. I have matured. I have grown. Making eye contact is not just about influencing others. It is about not forgetting yourself. Not looking away from your eyes when you look in the mirror is a sign of peace with life. As the years pass, you realize that beauty remains not on your face, but in your gaze. Because makeup fades, hair color changes, but the expression in your eyes remains. As a woman ages, she silences people with this gaze, silently, elegantly, profoundly. Women who can make eye contact in any setting establish authority without speaking, because there is confidence and clarity in that gaze. People feel more controlled, more calm around them. That's why the influence of mature women comes not from what they say, but from what they make you feel. Their eyes don't say, see me, they say, understand me. And this difference is captivating. No matter how old a woman gets, she reminds others of herself through eye contact. Because beauty lives not around the eyes, but in the light within them. As long as you can preserve that light, age cannot change you. Making eye contact is another way of looking at life, without fear, without running away, without hiding. And at that moment, everyone understands. This woman has not aged, she has only grown wiser. 9. Finding your own style, not blindly following fashion. As a woman ages, she learns to know herself, not fashion. When you're young, you try things like everyone else. You make mistakes. Sometimes you wear things that don't suit you just because they're trendy. But one day, you find that style in the mirror and say, this is me for the first time. No one can tell you what's fashionable anymore because you've already created your own fashion. This difference is the most beautiful form of freedom that comes with age. Style comes from your consciousness, not your clothes. And when a woman knows herself, fashion follows her. Blindly following fashion means dressing according to others' expectations. Yet, as we age, our spirit changes shape as much as our body. In youth, you make choices based on others' approval. In maturity, you choose according to your own spirit. That's when originality begins. Your style reflects not only you, but your outlook on life. That's why not every stylish woman is beautiful, but every original woman is impressive. Finding your own style takes patience. It cannot be found without trying, without making mistakes, without being brave. Mature women know the value of this. They no longer dress to adorn themselves, but to feel good about themselves. They feel the texture of the fabric, the energy of the color, the comfort of the fit. Because they know elegance begins with comfort and is completed with confidence. A woman with style sees herself when she looks in the mirror, not someone else's version. A woman's style is a silent manifesto of her soul. Every piece is a choice. Every detail tells a story. Fashion is fleeting, but style is eternal. Years later, people will remember you not for what you wore, but how you wore it. Because style is not about the clothes, it's about the attitude. As a woman ages, she learns to choose what suits her energy, not her body. When a style is established, a woman inspires those around her without even realizing it. Because she no longer strives to look beautiful, but to be real. And this sincerity inspires admiration in people of all ages. Finding your own style is silently telling the world, I no longer live through the eyes of others, but through my own eyes. This awareness changes not only your clothing, but your very being. So no matter how old you are, when you look in the mirror, consult your heart, not fashion magazines. Because when you find your own style, others will start to imitate you. That is true elegance. Fashion passes, but you remain. 10. Speak little and be clear. A woman's influence is sometimes hidden more in what she doesn't say than in what she does say. With age, a woman realizes the power of silence, not speech. Because a mature woman knows everyone talks, but very few convey meaning. Speaking less does not mean knowing less. It means eliminating the unnecessary and preserving the essence. That's why, as you age, your sentences become shorter, but their impact grows. When you choose your words carefully, people no longer focus on what you say. They focus on how you say it. Being clear doesn't mean being harsh. On the contrary, it's the most elegant form of determination. A woman who knows what she wants doesn't beat around the bush. When she speaks, her words are weighty but polite. Because she no longer speaks for approval, but for clarity. She doesn't talk a lot, but with a single sentence, she can change the energy in the room. When you are young, you talk to be understood. When you are mature, you only speak when necessary. This difference is the line between a woman and a sage. Speaking little is a result of inner confidence. Because a person only stops trying to explain themselves once they know themselves. You no longer prove anything to anyone. You don't explain. You don't justify. Even your silence carries meaning. That's why older women's presence is so compelling, because every word they utter has been filtered through experience. They don't talk, they teach. Being clear is also emotional cleansing. Saying clearly what you feel, stating clearly what you don't want, is a sign of maturity. Because uncertainty tires people. When a woman is clear, those around her understand her boundaries and respect them. That's why speaking little creates balance even in relationships. A woman is powerful not when she talks too much, but when she remains silent at the right moment. Women who speak with calmness and clarity stand out in a crowd because they express their energy not with words, but with their presence. Every word they say has clarity and direction. This simplicity creates a sense of trust in people, because people who are not complicated are confident in themselves. As she ages, a woman moves from complexity to simplicity, from raising her voice to deepening her meaning. Remember, a woman who speaks little is not mysterious, she is aware, because she knows that every word spoken carries energy. That's why she now uses even her silence carefully. And this awareness transforms her into a woman who is both respected and remembered. 11. Setting boundaries without excessive explanation. As a woman matures, she learns that it is not necessary to explain everything. When you are young, you explain, you give reasons, you are afraid of being misunderstood. But with age, you understand that setting boundaries is not a defense, but an act of self-respect. You no longer explain when you say no, you don't list reasons when you say, I don't want to. Because boundaries are drawn not to exclude others, but to protect your own peace of mind. When a woman realizes this, she becomes quieter but stronger. Explaining too much is a reflection of seeking approval, but a mature woman no longer seeks approval. She only expects respect, and she conveys this not with words, but with her attitude. She sets her boundaries calmly but clearly. People are surprised at first, then they get used to it. Eventually they take her seriously, because the less a woman explains, the more weight she carries. This is the wisdom that comes with years. Setting boundaries does not mean being cold. On the contrary, it is the only way to preserve true warmth, because a heart that lets everyone in eventually becomes ruined. A woman learns this through painful experiences as she ages. She no longer opens her door to everyone. She only lets in those who bring peace. Not explaining too much means giving the key to that door to the right people. This selectivity simplifies life. Setting boundaries is not a wall, it is a filter. It is not about blocking everything, but only letting the right things through. A mature woman knows this instinctively. People speak carefully and behave thoughtfully around her without realizing it, because they sense it. Even if this woman doesn't explain it, she makes her boundaries felt. And this is the silent form of true power. Not explaining too much is also freedom, because every time you try to explain yourself, you become a little more defensive. Now there is no need for that. It is enough that only you know what you feel and what you want. This freedom is the source of the peace that settles on a woman's face, and this peace makes her both mysterious and respected. When a woman can set boundaries without over-explaining, she effortlessly sheds the unnecessary burdens in her life, because she no longer seeks to be understood by everyone, only by the right people. This awareness is the most elegant maturity that comes with age. To embody your power rather than explain it, this is the quietest secret of women who inspire admiration. 12. Make gratitude a habit. As a woman ages, she learns to see not what life has given her, but what remains after everything else is gone. Gratitude is no longer a prayer, but a way of life. When we are young, we constantly want more, better, more beautiful. But as the years pass, we realize that peace comes not from having fewer shortcomings, but from recognizing what we do have. A grateful woman's face shows not weariness, but wisdom. She lives not with expectations of the world, but with gratitude. Gratitude is the most powerful silence that calms the storm within, because life places burdens on everyone's shoulders, but not everyone can carry them in the same way. A grateful woman sees not the weight of the burden, but the blessing of being able to walk. Just being able to say, "I'm still here," when she looks in the mirror every morning is a miracle for her. This awareness brings peace to her face and tranquility to her soul. The source of beauty is no longer in creams, but in this inner gratitude. Being grateful is the most elegant remedy for aging, because the grateful woman remembers not the things she has lost, but the beauty of having lived them. She is thankful even for old friendships, ended loves, and closed chapters. She says, "I'm glad I lived it. I'm glad it passed." This wisdom makes her both mature and radiant. Time may take things away, but it can never extinguish that light, because that light comes from within. The habit of gratitude shifts a person's focus. You no longer look at what is missing, but at what is still beautiful. A cup of coffee, A ray of sunshine, even a moment of silence gains value. This awareness simplifies a woman. She wants less, feels more. The grateful woman takes control of everything because she is now dependent on her inner balance, not the outside world. When a woman learns to be grateful, she develops a sense of trust in the world. She no longer questions whether life is fair or not, because she knows that everything happens for a reason. This awareness protects her from external stress. Gratitude is like a refuge. No matter what happens, when you return to it, you find peace. That is why a grateful woman is both strong and graceful, because she has chosen acceptance over fighting. And best of all, gratitude rejuvenates a woman, because gratitude softens the heart, brightens the face, and calms the voice. A grateful woman never looks old. She stands graceful even against time, because it's not aging that tires a person, it's not being grateful. Even on days when life tires you, find a reason to be grateful. That's when your radiance speaks, not your age. A woman's beauty does not fade with age, it only changes form. Over time, makeup is replaced by the gaze, adornment by posture, youth by wisdom. Every habit we discussed in this video was a way for a woman to return to her center, because being liked is no longer about others' eyes, but about making peace with your own. True attractiveness lies not in staying young, but in loving yourself. Now you know, elegance is not planned, it is lived. The lines on your face are not a sign of the past, but of depth. The serenity in your smile is the lesson of the years. When you stop fighting yourself and approach yourself with compassion, beauty radiates from within. This is the most powerful form of being admired, to shine simply by being present, without drawing attention. Because true beauty is not adorned, it is noticed. Now, when you look in the mirror, notice not only how much you have changed, but how much you have grown. That woman no longer waits for others' approval. She carries her own light. These habits are not a list, but a way of life. And even as you read these lines, that transformation has already begun. Because the moment a woman remembers her own worth, the whole world notices her anew. And remember, beauty never left you, it was just waiting for you to remember it. At every age, in every line, in every silence, you are a little stronger. Because the real charm is to embrace the present, not the past. How you look at yourself determines your value, not how others see you. So when you look in the mirror today, don't just see your face. See your resilience, your light, your story. Don't forget to subscribe. I love you, and I want you to love yourself too.